Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. I'm Jim. It's Great Books, Big Ideas. Thought it would be a good time for a reading update. It's early January. I didn't do a reading update at the end of December because I stopped reading. I intentionally took some time off. I called it a reading vacation. And why did I do that? And how did it go? Well, why I did it was I was working on an article for my Substack, my year-end roundup of all the books I read and my thumbnail thoughts about them. And I didn't want to finish anything and have to update the article again. And I also made a video out of that. So that gave me an excuse to stop reading for a bit. Oh, plus the holidays were in there, and it's just sort of a time. I had time off too, where in my online teaching world, like things coincided where that once we got to Christmas week or even just before that, I had no work and no freelance writing work. So I was truly on vacation for about 10 days. And now this week I'm starting up with teaching again online. And the writing hopefully will follow after soon enough. No current assignments right now, which is fine. But I thought this is the opportunity to just kind of reset. End of the year, you reflect on how things went. You're looking ahead to January. January, the month of Janus. You're looking back with one head and the other face, you're looking forward. So that's sort of why I stopped. I thought I just needed, I wasn't sick of it at all. I just thought I need a break. But, I thought it was just totally an intellectual thing. Like maybe I need a break. Spiritually, I didn't. So what happened was after a couple of days of intentionally not reading, not picking up a book, I started to miss it. I was like, this doesn't feel right at all. This is not who I am. I have trouble with time off sometimes, or with transition periods where, like I'm in between, or, like you're supposed to be somehow different when you're on vacation. It's like, all I can be is myself. So about 3 days into my reading vacation, I started to crawl back and read again. But I read, and then I felt a little bit out of sync at that point. Like even those 3 or 4 days where I really wasn't reading, once I got back into it, it was like little baby steps and not reading a whole lot for about, I guess it took about a week to kind of get back on pace. But here I am back reading again. And so, yeah, my reading vacation wasn't exactly like, I don't know if it achieved its aims, but whatever. I tried it. It was a nice time off, though, just a chance to reflect during the holiday season. I hope you had a chance to reflect, and I hope you all had a great holiday. And here we are, Happy New Year 2026. So I come here to report on the first book I completed reading in 2026, and then we'll talk about a couple other active reads, and that'll be it. We'll keep it pretty short today. So the book I did finish was my reread of The Confessions by St. Augustine. Again, this is a reread for me. I think I might have read it in this Great Books of the Western World first time through, but I think I read it in a little paperback edition first. So I read books 1 through 8 for my 10-year reading plan project. That's like a little sort of series that runs on this channel, a playlist. And that was fun. And that's really, really where the book splits into two almost halves, where that first part, books 1 through 8, is really his life story up to the point of Augustine's conversion to Christianity. And then the second part of the book, or second half almost, is more philosophy and theology based. So you move away from life story, and it's more about what's happening inside the mind. And he's reflecting on especially themes like memory and time, books 10 and 11 are really remarkable on those themes. They're dense though, and it's a much harder, slower reading for me than the first 8 books. But I got through it, I finished it, and yeah, that was great. And I actually want to read a little snippet from, I think it's from book 10, just to give you a sense of how Augustine reflects on the theme of memory, which is a theme that I'm personally interested in a lot. So this is from Confessions, book 10, and chapter or section 15. That's on page 75 of this edition. This, by the way, is a translation by Edward Bouverie Pusey. So for pages and pages, Augustine's been going on talking about memory, and he'll continue talking about memory for more pages after pages. But this little section jumped out as being like representative, and I think it's nice writing too. Great is this force of memory, excessive great, oh my God, a large and boundless chamber, whoever sounded the bottom thereof. Yet is this a power of mine, and belongs unto my nature, nor do I myself comprehend all that I am. Therefore is the mind too strait to contain itself. And where should that be, which it containeth not of itself? Is it without it, and not within? How then doth it not comprehend itself? A wonderful admiration surprises me. Amazement seizes upon this, and men go abroad to admire the heights of mountains, the mighty billows of the sea, the broad tides of rivers, the compass of the ocean, and the circuits of the stars, and pass themselves by, nor wonder that, when I spake of all these things, I did not see them with mine eyes, yet could not have spoken of them unless I then actually saw the mountains, billows, rivers, stars, which I had seen, and that ocean which I believed to be inwardly in my memory, and that with the same vast spaces between, as if I saw them abroad. Yet did not I, by seeing, draw them into myself, when with mine eyes I beheld them, nor are they themselves with me, but their images only, and I know by what sense of the body each was impressed upon me. Yet not these alone does the unmeasurable capacity of my memory retain. Here also is all learnt of the liberal sciences, and as yet unforgotten, removed as it were to some inner place, which is yet no place. Nor are they the images thereof, but the things themselves. For what is literature? What the art of disputing? How many kinds of questions there be? Whatsoever of these I know in such manner exists in my memory, as that I have not taken any image and left out the thing, or that it should have sounded and passed away like a voice fixed on the ear by that impress, whereby it might be recalled, as if it sounded when it no longer sounded, or as a smell while it passes and evaporates into air, affects the sense of smell, whence it conveys into the memory an image of itself, which remembering we renew, or as meat, which verily in the belly hath now no taste, and yet in the memory still in a manner tasteth, or as anything which the body by touch perceiveth, and which when removed from us, the memory still conceives. For those things are not transmitted into the memory, but their images only are with an admirable swiftness caught up and stored, as it were, in wondrous cabinets, and thence wonderfully, by the act of remembering, brought forth. That's sections 15 and 16 in the Confessions, book 10. You can see just how deeply he's probing really the phenomenology of I would call it the phenomenology of memory, and later in the next book, The Phenomenology of Time. I think he's very far advanced, ahead of his time in these speculations. And there's a lot to think about with that. But yeah, I enjoyed this read through of the Confessions. I'm hopeful that I'll be able to read it again someday. I have other translations that I want to check out. Probably 2 or 3 other translations. So yeah, it's a book I plan to return to. Happy to finish it. Still reading City of God. And that's one of my active reads, but there's not much news to report on that. The other 2 other books I want to talk about that I'm actively reading. There's a whole bunch of other stuff, but I'm just going to focus on like the hot ones. That would be Montaigne, and I'm reading selected essays in a Great Books of the Western World edition for that 10-year reading plan project. So the essays I've read so far, let me see if I can remember what they are. Was it of constancy, maybe? Well, I'll just talk about a couple of the recent ones. Of pedantry, of the education of children, which is a pretty major essay in the book. A lot to talk about there. And I'm up to now of cannibals, which is a really good essay too. And then I probably have about 2 or 3 more essays to go to finish that small sampling for that 10-year reading plan. I'll do a video on it hopefully soon. I've been testing this new lap desk that my wife got for me for Christmas, and for books like this Great Books of the Western World, they're great because whenever I'm reading a book like this with the small text and here's 4 columns spread across the page, you're holding this book open on these pages for quite a while as you make your way through that, like those rivers of text. So it's nice to just have something prop the book up for you. And then also I can have my notebook up by my side, and it's just very comfortable. I really put this to the test yesterday. I was reading for an extended period in the living room, and yeah, I'm really liking this lap desk so far. So the Montaigne is going fine. I'll have more to say about him when I make that video. And then the easier read I've had so far, and I'm over halfway through, is this lovely book, John Steinbeck Travels with Charlie. This is a paperback edition. Charlie is his dog, a standard poodle. You can see Charlie there, and John. And this is travel literature, so he's on this odyssey. He's driving around in a camper, and he's seeing the sights of America. He's like a search for America, maybe a search for himself. I think he's in his late 50s when he's on this journey. And I've been following his travels. He leaves from New York, like Long Island, and then he kind of heads up into New England. And now he's crossed over in the upper Midwest. And he sort of met up with his wife in Chicago for a little while, and now he is off into the Great Plains. He's headed off into North Dakota. It's, I think, the last point I left off here, headed west. And he's going to make his way around the country. I really enjoying this so far. It's very well written. I love his reflections on things. It's a snapshot of where America was in the early 60s. And here's this famous writer who is really traveling around in pretty much anonymity. I don't think most people he encounters knew who he was. And it seems like he's doing a lot of people observations and place observations, and it's just really, really good. I'll have more to say when I'm finished it. We'll see where he takes us. But gentle writing, and you can travel along with them, and that's why I like travel literature. John Steinbeck, Travels with Charlie. Really good stuff. So, plenty of other stuff happening, but those are the books that I'm currently actively reading. And I hope to finish some things soon. I think I'll finish this Travels with Charlie probably in the next few days at the pace that I'm going at. So I'll report on that in my next reading update. And like I said, City of God's happening. I still got the Recognitions by William Gaddis. I'm making slow progress through that, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Oh, and I did start a new book. I'll just mention it here as a teaser. Love in the Time of Cholera by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. My God, is that a good book so far? I'm already hooked. I'm really looking forward to reading that. Maybe I'm probably about 30, 40 pages in, but I'm loving that book so far. Good God, is that good? Anyway, what have you all been reading? Have you finished anything this early in the year yet? What are your reading plans for 2026, if any? And I do thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this little update. And I'll be back with another video pretty soon, I hope. Bye-bye. Be well.